I come from a very small village, and this is an opportunity to actually share what I have learned from what I do. But first of all, I would actually like to clarify. I know what you all are thinking, but I'm not a monk, nor I ever sold a Ferrari. I'm just a ceramic artist who has been fascinated with clay ever since I was just 2 years old. Although ceramics and pottery has been increasingly popular now, but I have seen the time when clay was just considered as a recreational activity, something which somebody would think as a mere hobby, and very, very rarely somebody would actually consider it doing as a career. But I'm here to talk about my journey in clay, how it has helped me heal, how I've learned the art of letting go, and what it really means when somebody says acceptance. Okay, so there's a question for you guys. You guys must have come across a video of someone on a pottery wheel making things on the pottery wheel, right? Have you guys seen some videos? Can I get a loud yes? No?
Yeah.
All right. Isn't it mesmerizing and downright fascinating to see how a lump of clay starts growing into numerous different shapes and something beautiful comes out, right? But what if I tell you that apart from just the skill set, there's actually another side to it? Major life lessons in the most basic steps of making pottery. All right, let's do something. All right, let's imagine that you are sitting on a potter's wheel. Can we do that? Can we get a loud yes?
Yeah.
Great. So let's say you are on the potter's wheel, you have a lump of clay in front of you, you have your hands wet, and you're about to make the first pot of your life. I think some of you have tried pottery over here, but let's see how it goes. So the first step you would have to do is called centering. This is a step where you bring clay to the exactly center of the wheel. You would have to get your hands wet, put a lot of your pressure, and bring clay to the center. Sounds easy, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are shaking their heads because they know. For me, this is the step which has taken me the longest to learn. Not because it's tough to learn or I'm slow in learning, but because of the fact what it actually demands. You see, when you're trying to center, you have to put all your concentration in one thing. You have to put a lot of patience because it takes time to learn. One might say this is as similar as meditation. See, what I consider is there are two ways to meditate in. First one is to not think about anything. And I think this is the hardest one. But there's another side to it where you can just think about one thing. And guess what? When you're doing pottery, it actually allows you downright till the point you're not actually focusing on that just one thing, you will not be able to do it. All right, so centering, we have understood what we need to do. Now, moving on, let's say there are some days when I'm not really able to center. I'm not able to be at my best. What happens that day is, in spite of doing pottery numerous times, I've centered tons of clay. That day, I'm not able to center. And it really bothered me when it happened for the first time that, I've really learned this skill. I've really made a lot of pots. Why is it happening? And that's when it hit me how powerful this material is. This is like talking to a therapist. It shows you what's happening really inside you. Imagine this is a lifeless lump of clay reflecting and showing what's really happening inside you. This is one major life lesson which I got. Right? Okay. So then, let's say on a good day, I'm able to center it happened correctly. You're all imagining at the moment, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're on the wheel, you've centered the clay, now you would do the second step. This is called shaping. Now, this is the step which is the most dramatic one. This is the part where the clump of clay starts turning into a cylinder. It starts becoming a taller cylinder. There's a belly which comes out. There's a neck which comes out. Imagining here, keep imagining what's happening right now, right? So this shape is happening, but guess what? This happens with only one thing, which is a very, very fine balance between your firmness and being gentle. A little extra pressure when you're holding the clay, it'll become too thin. And you might have guessed it already, it'll just collapse. And on the contrary, there would be a point where you're just not doing anything because you're feeling too scared. Guess what? Nothing really will happen. Now, this is something which I think, for example, how parenting is, right? Now, imagine how parents are with their children. There's a sense of they want to discipline them, but also there is just chance that they might be too firm with them, and this might actually turn into a trauma. And this is where you need to learn when you're loving, you need to love, but not overshadow it, not really over cuddle it. But also, when you're trying to be firm, make sure that there's a room and a space where things can grow. And when you learn this kind of a balance in between, you've got a beautiful pot, right? You have that image of your beautiful pot. It could be a bowl, it could be a vase, it could be anything imaginary which you have in your head, right? Say yes.
Yeah.
All right. Because see, it's an important step right now. Till the point you're not connected with me, I'll not be able to feel what you're trying to say. Okay, so you have your imaginary pot in your hand and you're really proud because this is something which you've created by your own hands. And if you've done anything with your hands, you know how it really feels when you make something. But the thing is, this is not where the process ends. This is just the middle of it. Now it has to go through a test, and the test is called firing. This is the step where you have to learn second big lesson of your life, and this is called letting go. Often what happens is we are too connected to what we have created. We become overprotective and we are like, oh no, we are not going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're not going to let it hurt. But guess what? If the clay which you've just made is raw, any little drop of water and it will just disintegrate. Only when it goes through a firing, it actually becomes permanent. Permanent so and so that we actually get to know about different civilizations through pot, right? We've known about Indus Valley and different other things. Nothing else survived, but actually they are pottery. But again, this is also a step which is very, very nerve-wracking. Because this is the step where any kind of a little imperfection, any kind of a little air bubble which you have will result in the failure of your pot. But guess what? This is the step which you still need to go, hence it teaches you the letting go part. Understood? Okay, so you've taken a big grasp and then you put your pot in the kiln and then it's firing. Now the firing is done, now it's a big day. And this big day is called kiln opening. So whenever there are kiln opening days, I have done pottery for the last 10 years and I've seen thousands of kiln openings. But every day I'm still super excited. Whenever I go there, I would actually wake up early morning, go to the studio, and I'm right at the gate and I'm about to open it. But that's when I stop. And this happens every time. And trust me, this is what I'm speaking with complete honesty. I stop there. And then I recall what my father used to say. That I know you have put a lot of effort. I know you've given your 100% in what you're trying to do right now. I know that you are scared. Because every time we've put effort, we feel scared that what if things go wrong? But guess what? This is the one part which you don't have any control over. So if you actually don't have any control over, why worry? And this is another big lesson which is called acceptance. You need to accept the results, whatever it is. So you have your imaginary pot in your head, right? You've put that in the kiln and now you're about to open it. You feel excited, you feel nervous, but yet you open the kiln. And then what you see is a beautiful pot. It has the colors which you've not even imagined ever. It makes you feel like you are the best potter of this world. But you're actually enjoying it. It is giving you happiness. And some might say this is a non-living thing, right? Technically it's a non-living thing and definitely out of firing is a non-living thing. But it's actually giving you true happiness. And that makes me question, is it really non-living? And that's a question for you, right? Now, there's another alternative to it, the sad side to it. You open the kiln and there's a broken pot right there, or an ugly one, or a deformed one. Now what? Of course it makes you feel sad because you've put so much effort into it. But now you need to do the acceptance of it. Accept that yes, you are a human being. You can make mistakes. You are not perfect. You are somebody who is in the process of growing. You are not a machine. So you accept what it is, you learn from it, and you move on. Now, I want to talk about something where why would I do pottery, right? I was 19 years old, and that is when I actually lost my father. That was the time where I was actually doing aeronautical engineering, and everything was in a question that what am I doing? Why am I doing? Everything seemed pointless, meaningless. And that is when clay actually came as a savior. I was back from my college. I was taking care at home, and I started doing pottery. And somewhere that clay gave me a safe space where it allowed me to find happiness in the most painful stage of my life. I would spend my time in pottery, try to learn something, and this process of going every day to the studio started my journey of healing. Now imagine, I'm again talking about a lump of clay, something you would see everywhere. It's abundant in our country. Clay is everywhere. This is the topmost soil. To conclude to all of this, all I want to say is that I'm standing here not just as a potter, but actually a student of clay, a living testament of the transformative power of this ancient art and how it can help you in your healing journey, how it can teach you something, some major life lessons which you might have, this is something which you never really talk about. And there's always a human desire to always learn these things. I'm sure you have come across these wordings, letting go, acceptance, and all of this. But this kind of a craft actually made me live into it. And this is what I would say that if you ever get time, spend your energy into something you can do it with your hands. And you never know, your journey would start with your first lump of clay. Thank you.